Barcelona, you're listening to English Radio on 106.9, the show to help you learn and improve your English. So, today is the 1st of April, and guess what? It's April Fool's Day. Unable to confirm the origin, it's a day of jokes, bromas, and pranksters, bromistas. Okay, so we have a whirlwind of a show today. We'll be looking at our weekly expressions, and we'll be speaking to today's guest. Ooh. But before we came, so now we'll be speaking to today's guest. He's here all the way from the UK. He's a man well-travelled, the founder and the director and owner of the world's very best gin. It's Mr. Andy Dawson. Welcome to the show, Andy.
Good morning, Abby. It's a pleasure to be here with you in Barcelona.
Likewise, I'm so pleased to have you here on the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can I ask, what are you doing here in Barcelona, first and foremost? What brings you to Barcelona?
There's a big show on this week in Barcelona. It's a food and drink show called Alimentaria. And we are at it with a stand all week exhibiting my broker's gin.
Oh, wow, wonderful. And why are you wearing a bowler's hat?
Oh, my bowler hat. Well, that's a key feature of our brand. The bowler hat is our brand icon for Broker's Gin. If you think about all of the spirits categories in the world, Abby, the only one that historically has been distilled in England is gin. Mm-hmm. All the other spirits, such as whiskey, vodka, rum, originate somewhere else in the world. Yeah. And we chose to reflect the English heritage of gin in our Broker's Gin brand. Wow. And for that reason, there's a man wearing a bowler hat and a pinstripe suit on the label, and there is a little bowler hat on the top of every bottle. So whenever I'm working promoting Broker's Gin, I wear my own bowler hat, as you can see.
Wow, amazing. And what led you to create Broker's Gin initially?
I was talked into it by my brother, Martin. He had worked in the drinks industry all his life. I worked in the oil industry before I went into drinks. And what happened is my brother said to me, this is now 15 years ago, he said, Andy, have you noticed that whenever you go into a bar or go into a shop that sells alcohol, you will see hundreds of vodkas, you'll see hundreds of whiskies, but you'll only see the same 5 or 6 gins. Mm-hmm. Now, this is 15 years ago, and that was broadly true. So we decided just to create our own gin and put another gin on the shelf. Now, today, it's no longer true. There are hundreds of gins, as well as hundreds of whiskies and vodkas.
I mean, what is gin and where did it come from?
The simplest way to describe gin is it is the original flavoured vodka. A lot of people drink vodka, and a lot of people are familiar with cranberry flavoured vodka or chocolate flavoured vodka, coffee vodka, etc. To make gin, you start with a neutral spirit, and that is what vodka is, and you flavour it with primarily juniper berries. So the simplest description of gin is it is juniper berry flavoured vodka.
Wow. And do you use any other ingredients with juniper?
Yes. You can make gin with only juniper, but that doesn't give you a very interesting gin. So most gins use 4 or 5, 7 or 8, 10, 20. These days, literally dozens of different ingredients. They are what the gin makers call botanicals, which simply means plants. So they are predominantly spices and herbs and fruits. But these days, people are also using flowers, nuts, all types of different ingredients.
What would you recommend? What do you think makes the best gin?
Well,
because I know you can use black pepper, you can use, I don't know what.
Lemongrass, you can use all sorts of things. When we created Broker's Gin, we worked with a 200-year-old distillery in England, and they are experts in distilling, they're experts in formulating recipes. And what we've done is we have recreated a 200-year-old gin recipe. And for that reason, all of the ingredients in our Broker's Gin are classic, traditional gin botanicals.
Amazing.
Now, that's why people like our gin. It's classic in style and it's rich in flavour. We haven't done what most of the new gins have done, which is to put in unconventional ingredients.
I see. And obviously that will change the taste diversely.
Oh, totally. I mean, many people might think that all gin tastes the same. But when you start putting different gins side by side and nosing them as well as tasting them, as you would do in a wine tasting, you discover that there is a huge variety of aromas and flavours that you get from gin.
Wow. Is it true that gin has medicinal benefits?
Yes, totally. And really the simplest way to express that is to look at the way gin historically has been drunk. The classic gin drink is gin and tonic. And the origin of gin and tonic is people taking quinine water as a preventative against malaria. Quinine water on its own didn't taste very good, so people mixed it with gin to make it taste better. And then quinine water evolved into what, to give it its full name, is Indian tonic water, because this was predominantly drunk in India. So gin and tonic, anti-malaria. Another very popular gin drink is gin and lime. And lime juice was taken to prevent scurvy. So gin and lime was about getting vitamin C and the prevention of scurvy.
What is scurvy?
Scurvy is a disease which you might think I've suffered from because it makes your hair fall out. And English sailors were called limeys predominantly by Americans because they observed that English sailors were given a ration of lime juice.
I see.
And hence English sailors were called limeys.
Limeys, wow.
That's the opposite of English soldiers and sailors calling Americans Yanks.
The equivalent.
Or the equivalent, yes.
What's the best way to drink gin, would you say?
In Spain, there is a rather peculiar preference. When I say peculiar, I mean I don't see this in many other countries. In Spain, a lot of people drink gin and Coke. Now,
really?
Yes. Now, I say, well, okay, why not? Because people drink vodka and Coke, whiskey and Coke, rum and Coke, all those other spirits. Yeah. But traditionally, the number one gin drink is gin and tonic. And in Spain, over the last few years, there's been a revolution going on in gin and tonic.
Definitely.
You will find here in Barcelona and in other Spanish cities bars that focus specifically on gin and tonic, and they will offer you literally hundreds of different gins, maybe a dozen different tonic waters, and then they will also offer a whole multitude of different garnishes. Yeah. So there's a real art in the making of gin and tonic.
Wow.
But that's not the only way, of course, to drink gin. If you pick up a classic cocktail book from, let's just say, the first half of the 20th century, it is full of gin cocktails. Vodka didn't really arrive in the West until the 1960s, and I blame James Bond for that, etc., and his vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. But a lot of classic cocktails are made with gin. And just to pick one that I particularly like, it's called a Negroni. And the Negroni was invented in Italy, I think in the 1920s, by a count by the name of Count Negroni. Yeah. And that is a combination of gin, Campari, and sweet red vermouth. And it's delicious.
I was looking at the website as well. There's a load of different mojitos. They've got that on the brain.
No, Abby, you can make a gin mojito. It's called a Southside.
Oh, really?
And it really tastes good. Yes. In fact, here's my tip. Any cocktail that you make with vodka or with white rum, you can make it with gin and you will just have a different flavour profile.
Well, I was looking at the aviation. That looks very colourful and nice.
Yes, the aviation is one of the classic gin cocktails that involves, in our case, broker's gin, lemon juice, maraschino, which is a cherry liqueur, and creme de violette, which is a liqueur made from the violet flower, so it gives you a beautiful purple colour. And
there was another one, I think it was called the Londoner.
The Londoner is, we thought there are cocktails out there like the Bronx, the Singapore Sling, the Manhattan, but no one had actually come up with a Londoner. So we decided to make a cocktail and call it the Londoner, and that is based on broker's gin, pink grapefruit juice, and creme de mure, which is blackberry liqueur. And it's delicious. In fact, here's a tip. Anyone who doesn't like tonic water, but is interested in trying gin cocktails, grapefruit juice is a very good mixer. So is cranberry juice. In fact, pretty much any fruit juice.
Is it because of the bitterness or not necessarily?
Let's put it this way. People mix vodka with all types of additives.
Yes.
Vodka merely provides alcohol. Gin provides the alcohol in a cocktail and it contributes a flavour.